So I'm going to show you in this video how to replace a Moen faucet cartridge. This is the type that takes the 1225 cartridge, and how you know the difference between a 1225 cartridge and a 1222 cartridge is the 1225 is the pull on, and this one's getting pretty hard to pull. So the 1225 is pull on and then left hot and right cold. The 1222 is turn it to the left is off and then just turn it on, and the farther you go the warmer it gets. There's no pull on the 1222, but this is a pull and it's the 1225. And I'll leave Moen's information in the description. Moen has a lifetime guarantee on these cartridges, so you can contact Moen if you have the model number of your faucet, and they'll send you a replacement cartridge for free. If you don't want to do that, you can buy these cartridges at your local hardware store or off of Amazon, and I'll put links for that in the description. They're around $22 here in first part of 2025 if you're interested in just going down and getting one for yourself, or order it off Amazon and then install it. But they're real easy to install. This house has a water softener installed, so I'm expecting to be able to remove the cartridge with very little trouble, hopefully. If you do have trouble, you may need to actually purchase a cartridge puller, which you can also get on Amazon or your local hardware store, and I'll link that in the description as well for those of you who may have hard water and you don't have a softener in place. It might be a little difficult to remove. So let's go ahead and we'll get started on this. I'll show you how to do it. Alright, the very first step is I went underneath the sink and turned off both the hot and the cold valves, and that's pretty self-explanatory. There should be a valve for each one underneath the sink, and then you need a small thin screwdriver or something similar to that, and you want to pop this emblem off of here. Just go careful with it so you don't break it. It's just plastic. Remove that. Then you'll have a Phillips head screw right on the top in order to remove the handle. And you pull that handle, should come off of there. Now there might be a little spacer or a little washer underneath there, so watch for that. Maybe pull the drain so that it's closed. If you drop a part, it's not going to go down your drain. And here's the washer. So that'll go back on the stem before we put the handle back on. Then you've got this beauty ring around here. Should just pull off of there. Just like that. And now we have access to the locking pin that holds the cartridge into the fixture. Just get a little screwdriver or something to pry that up a little bit so you can pull it out. And that's what the locking pin looks like. And this one does have a little bit of corrosion on it. I'll just wipe that off real good before I put it back together. But don't lose that. The new cartridge does not come with the pin. Then each new cartridge package comes with this little tool. It's just a plastic tool, and you've got a couple of slots on each side, and you can see how that'll fit into the cartridge. You turn it, it'll push down and kind of lock in there. Then you can take a pair of pliers, and I'm just going to use channel locks. I only need a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips, and a pair of channel locks to remove this cartridge if it's not corroded in there. And then take this and turn the cartridge. See, this one is kind of frozen in there. Try to break it free. And it is moving, finally. I'm really surprised with the water softener in this home, but this is what you run into sometimes. After you loosen that up a little bit, then see if you can pull the cartridge out. And this one is apparently going to be stubborn. Okay, so this cartridge is kind of stuck in there, and I don't have a puller with me. I'm trying to get this job done, and the best thing to do would be to order a puller. They're about, depends on where you buy it. I'll list one down below for about $9 off of Amazon, or if you go to your local hardware store, mine's about $16 to $29, depending on which one you get. So what I'm doing is, this is the screw that was holding the knob onto the faucet. I just went out to my toolbox and found a bolt with the identical threads. I don't know what that is, 6/32 maybe. And it matches the thread. But this one, I can screw in here and yank on it. And if I mess it up, it's not a big deal. So I'm going to screw that down in there. Remember, this is without a puller, but a puller would be your best option. And I'll see, because a puller will leverage against the rim of this cartridge holder to be able to pry it out of there. But I'm just going to see if I can pull it out with a pair of channel locks using that other screw that I got, or that other bolt that I found. And it is moving. Just hopefully I don't break it. And I can get it that far. I may have to get a puller anyway. I'm just trying to improvise since I don't have a puller. If you anticipate yours is going to be stuck, a puller is the easiest way to go, of course. Wow. All right, well, let me play around with this. We'll see what happens here. This is the DIY method without the proper tools. All right, let's see if that did anything. See if I can get lucky. It is coming out a little farther, slowly but surely. If I don't break it, I might get lucky, but it's not over yet. This is realistic though. I got it, and it completely destroyed the inner parts. But luckily the whole thing came out. It didn't break. I think I've got some plastic in there. We'll look in a second. I put my vice grips on here and slammed it down and yanked it up, slammed it down, and about on the 5th try, it finally broke free and came out. Like a slide hammer type setup. This doesn't look like all of the rubber or the plastic, so some of it's probably still in there. But now I need to get it all cleaned out before we get ready to put the new part in. Okay, we're finally getting somewhere. I've got a bunch more of those pieces out of there, and I had to use a small piece of welding rod to dig it out, a screwdriver, and I've used these forceps. So thank goodness for the forceps. I do believe I have all the pieces out, and I can see down in there with a flashlight. It looks pretty clean, but I'm going to stuff a rag down in there and a screwdriver. And you don't want to scratch up the inside of that hole. So be careful. If you get one that's stuck and comes out in pieces, be careful that you don't destroy the sides of this hole here where your cartridge goes, because that needs to seal so it doesn't leak. I'm just going to stuff a rag down in there and twist it. Just to make sure it's good and clean. I didn't see a lot of water deposits. I think what was hanging mine up was that piece of rubber. Might have had a cracked piece of the rubber that was stuck in that hole on that inlet side of the hot water. I think I'm ready to go ahead and put the new cartridge in. So here's a look at the old cartridge up next to the new cartridge. So the entire thing did come out. And this house does have a water softener, so I'm wondering if maybe this was pre-water softener in this home. Anyway, I think this rubber, see the rubber on the new one is intact, obviously, but it all just ripped and shredded. Got caught on those two holes where the water inlet are in the bottom of that hole and ripped it. And that's what makes it hard to pull out sometimes. They'll get caught up in there on some corrosion or some buildup like this right here and just make it hard to get out. Now this one is pre-lube, but I do have some lube, so I'm going to put a little bit more on it before I put it in there. Just with my fingers and spread it all around that. Wipe my fingers off and we'll get ready to put that new cartridge into the faucet. Now there's a couple of plastic tabs. You want one on the top, 12 o'clock, and one at the bottom at 6 o'clock. That's all you need to be concerned about when you put this in. So you see this tool fit down in there. You can use that to kind of align it so that those tabs are straight at the top and the bottom. And then once you get that lined up, then your pin should be able to go right down in there. We'll see if I can do that while I film it here for you. And see, it won't quite go because I need to push it in a little farther. You can take this piece to push it in. And then you can look right in here and see those teeth coming down through. And that's what holds the cartridge in there. And then you want to make sure that it goes all the way in, just like that. Just that piece with the hole sticking out the top. Then the next thing would be to put your beauty ring back on. That just slips in. You can see how it has to be to fit over the top of that little tab. And then we have that special washer that goes on there. And it's got flat spots, so it has to go on a certain way. Okay, now at this point we need to determine, I've turned the water back on. We need to determine if we have it in correct or if we need to turn it 180 degrees so that the hot is on the left and the cold is on the right. Now this handle has a couple of little stops, and I don't know if you can see those on the video, but they'll hit this little bump out, and that's what limits how far that handle turns. So it only has 180 degrees of travel. So we'll put the handle on and turn the water on. We'll go to the hot side. Let that run just long enough to find out if that's going to get hot. Okay, that water is starting to get hot. So hot on the left and cold is definitely on the right. So I got lucky and got it right the first time. You got a 50-50% chance of getting that right. If you don't get it right and they're reversed, hot's on the right and cold's on the left, just pull that handle off. And then you got a flat spot on the top and a flat spot on the bottom. All you do is turn that 180 degrees. And that'll reverse the hot and cold. So mine was correct, so I'll put it back. And then I can screw the handle on. Put my little beauty cap back on here. And now it's just one finger. I can turn it on and off with just a couple of fingers. Hot left, cold right. And that's all there is to changing out a 1225 Moen faucet cartridge, bathroom sink faucet cartridge. I'll leave links for everything I used in the description. And I wish you the best. And we'll see you on the next video. If you want to see my original video of the shower cartridge removal, I'll link that right here on the screen. If you click that one, I'll meet you over there.